Okay. So now there are many terms that you might have heard, which seem to be related and sometimes confusing in that sense. So one is obviously AI, artificial intelligence. The other could be machine learning. The third could be data science. And obviously, fourth is business analytics. And how are they related to each other? So business analytics, as we said, is all about data-driven decision making. So what all is required to be done for making decisions is something that is included in BA. So if you want to do business analytics and on a large scale, then you need to worry about technologies like how do you collect data, store data. So you need databases for that. You also need to build something called a data warehouse, which uses this process called ETL, extract, transform, and load. Extract data from different data sources, transform it, and load in data warehouse sort of thing, which is another software. So which has been done. So these are the typical technologies which were used for analytics earlier, maybe say 10, 20 years back. But recently, there is more focus on these AI techniques, which is machine learning and deep learning. So to just put it simplistically, you say AI is a big thing, machine learning is part of that, and deep learning is even a part of machine learning. So it's that relationship. So AI contains machine learning contains deep learning. Now, what is that specific or machine learning, or specifically in AI techniques? So AI techniques have many other things, like fuzzy logic, you might have heard, expert systems, and there are quite a few techniques which are. The machine learning is the one which makes use of data to make decisions. Okay, to make prediction, not decisions, actually to make predictions. Okay, so it's one of the technique that you use for analytics. Okay, so it uses AI in that sense for analytics, the large scale. So when you're talking about this Zomato making recommendations, or when you talk about Amazon making recommendation, what are they doing? They're actually predicting what is most likely your next purchase. So that prediction is nothing but happening with machine learning. Okay, so if you are using data to predict something, then that technique that you use is called AI techniques or machine learning techniques, to be very specific. And that is part of business analytics, which is required for. So business analytics would include techniques like machine learning. It may not necessarily include machine learning. So you may have analytics being done using data warehouse software, which is where you use ETL sort of it. Or you may actually do analytics with Excel also. You don't need necessary machine learning. You could do simple Excel, visualize data in Excel, and you can actually do analytics with Excel. But then that you can do only with a small limited amount of data. But when you're looking at prediction, then you need machine learning, which is nothing but AI. And that is where you see Zomato or Amazon or Flipkart and all those companies, when they talk about they're using AI, what are they doing is basically using AI to make predictions, which will help users to make decisions. Similarly, there are statistical and mathematical tools and operational research tools which are available, which could be also be used to make decisions. They are not as popular as AI because AI we talk a lot about it, but statistical tools are also very useful when it comes to making decisions. And finally, there is something called the big data, where we have this data like social media data, where we have large volume of data which is getting generated day in and day out. Or let us look at this car, automated car, where there's a lot of data that is being generated. This is all the big data, or there are machines, there are sensors, and they are getting generating a lot of data. So this is all is a big data, and that will also help us to make decisions. So, for example, if there's a big machine in a company, or there are multiple machines in the company, and there are sensors attached to it, which generate a lot of data about the temperature, about the various environmental variables about the machine. You could write a model which will help us to predict when this machine will break, and that kind of a prediction also is part of will helps us to make decisions about it, right? So BA would include all of it. So when you come to about BA, it includes AI, and BA using AI is perhaps more popular. BA using big data is more popular, more talked about, and obviously used by large companies. So you'll see many job opportunities with that. Whereas analytics using Excel is not that much talked about, but possibly done for a small company, for small businesses. Analytics with Excel is good enough. You don't need data warehouse or AI or 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 big data kind of thing. Is this clear? Any questions on this?
So big data technologies basically covers everything you're saying. I am not
No.
very clear. Big
Hmm.
data means
Okay. Big data would mean the data which comes from the social media, which is a large
okay,
volume of data which keeps on
okay,
coming. Okay. Then if you have a machines, let us say there are hundreds of machines in a company, in a factory, and each machine has got various sensors like temperature sensors, and that then generating data. That is also big data, the huge data which is getting generated, and it's kind of continuously coming. So that is also big data. But
So
if you are
can you
having
give an example of this
Hmm,
social media, what you're saying?
hmm,
So can you just give an example that how social media would be used for this big data? Uh,
yeah. So for example, there's a Colgate is a brand, or let us
okay.
better example. Let us take Ola Cab is a brand. Right? So
Hmm.
Ola Cab has a system in place which keeps on looking into Twitter's tweets and Facebook post and Instagram post. So anytime
Okay.
you put up a message on Facebook saying that, I had a very terrible experience with Ola today and they really messed it up, immediately you get a message saying sorry for this, please
Oh,
tell your
okay.
number. We could, and not only that, so this is kind of active, but sometimes many brands, like for example, Coca-Cola, will keep on monitoring what is being talked about Coca-Cola in social media,
Okay.
which is called
Oh,
as a
okay.
reputation management. And they will take action if they feel that there is something negative sentiments going around. And now obviously
Okay.
elections are coming. So in election, there is a huge use of social media data. All political
Hmm.
parties will have their systems placed to monitor what are being people talking on social media, what sentiments are being expressed, and they may even enhance
Right.
it by posting certain things or posting certain advertisements. So that
Okay.
all data is big data because the huge volume is also velocity.
Right.
It's kind of coming, and there is a lot of variety in that. So you're looking at Facebook posts, Instagram, YouTube videos. You're looking at tweets and so on.
Okay.
Shreya, any questions from you? Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir, it's clear. No questions so far.
Okay. Now, if you look at types of analytics, there are three types. Okay. First is called descriptive, second is called predictive, and third is called prescriptive. So how companies go about choosing analytics? So they typically start with descriptive, then go for predictive, then go for prescriptive. So what happens in descriptive is it will tell you what happened basically. So all the charts that we see, all dashboards that we talked about, even data warehouse is another technology. But basically all dashboards, all charts that we make out of, or visualization basically, it's all about descriptive analytics. It tells us what happened or what is happening. If it's real time, it will tell us what is happening. And from that, we kind of find out what are the problems. So for example, if you see a sales data, there is a going down, so that's a problem that you find out. Or you find some opportunities from that. Right? So you use descriptive analytics to basically find out problems in a picture. Okay, we're not solving problems in a picture. And then you will see what decision to make. Right. So for example, if you see sales going down, you make a decision, or you look at the sales shares prices, right? So you see share prices over one day, over 1 week, 1 day, 1 month, 1 year, and then you kind of make a decision saying that this is kind of going down or going up, and either to buy or sell or to keep, right? So all this visualization that you see, more of lot of charts that we see, or it could be simple data which is shown, actually helps us to describe what is happening And that will help you to define. So you have to, as a manager or as a decision maker, you have to understand what are the problems and opportunities coming, and then accordingly you can make a decision based on that. And this visualization is very, I mean, could be very, very useful. I mean, for example, this is one example I've given, and there are many examples like where if you want to just tell people that, out of whatever plastic getting produced, how much is actually used or how much is discarded. You can always tell the numbers that 59% is get discarded, 10% is incinerated, 31% is in use, and on 6% is recycled only. All right. So you could tell those numbers and people may get some idea from it. But if you show this visual, right, it will be very clear to somebody that, there's something going wrong here. Like out of this 70% used once and 30% still is in use, right? So this kind of visual has more impact. So whenever you make presentations to management or to decision makers, you want to show charts rather than showing numbers, because the charts can tell the story better rather than numbers. So descriptive analytics, a lot of talking about data visualization, and that is where you could use different tools. So in Excel also you can do it, a dashboard, not like this, but in Tableau you could do charts like this. In Power BI you could do charts like this. So these are the tools which are used to make use of descriptive analytics. So as Shreya said, his company is using Tableau. There are many companies are using Tableau or Power BI for visualization, and basically that's how they're using descriptive analytics. Then comes predictive
Sorry
analytics.
to interrupt, but
Yeah.
I think even subconsciously or unconsciously, we are always doing analytics, right?
Hmm.
Like what you said, why, what, we are anyway analyzing ourselves that,
Right.
okay, fine, why did this happen? Or, for example, as you said, a share price, why did it go down? And if it's
Yeah.
still going down, what should I do? But this
Yes.
just makes it more clear and more effective, I feel.
Yes. So one way to make a decision is to have some kind of biases, and we say I keep on selling or keep on buying, or I will not look at data. I will just hear some tips and I'll act on it. And we're taking example of share market, but there will be somebody who
Right.
will look at the data. And when you say look at the data,
Yes.
you can't look at numbers. You look at some
Correct.
chart, and based on
Correct.
that, you see some opportunity or some problem, and you take a decision based on.
Correct.
So descriptive analytics is something which we use most of the time.
Yes.
Predict is the next stage where we want to say what will happen, and that prediction happens based on what happened so far. So again, when we're looking at same example stock market, we see how this stock was performing in last 5 years, or how the Sensex is doing for last 10 years, or Nifty is doing for last 10 years. We kind of predict how it will perform in future. Now this again could be done by looking at chart kind of a thing, or you could have software like AI techniques, machine learning, to make a prediction for us. So this is where you will see more use of AI, because it is not that easy for someone to make prediction with all that data that is coming in. So when we look at making predictions, we need a lot of data about the past, and that is where the prediction would happen. Having said so, it is also not that you can make it successful. For example, share market, there have been numerous attempts to predict, but we don't know any attempt where it is 100% accurate. But again, the idea is not to have 100% accuracy. You're looking at something which is close to 100%, 80%, 90%, 95%, 99%, and so on. And then you make a decision. So you kind of know what will happen, and then you make a decision of buy or sell, or what. Or in businesses, if you're looking at whether we should order raw material or not, right? So you know that okay, we will run out of this raw material in next 1 month, so we should order now, or we should order maybe within a week. So you are still making a decision, but you get a support from a system, from some software, from to tell what would happen, and then that will help you to make decisions. So that is the next level of analytics, and this is where not all companies are doing. Some companies are doing because it is expensive. if you're using AI, it is not cheap. It's definitely a lot of money investment involved in hardware, software, people cost, and so on. But this is where you could do it. And interestingly, again, it's not necessary that you should need big software. Even in Excel also you can do. But obviously with a small amount of data, not so much amount of data, but a small amount of data, maybe thousands of rows, you could still records, you could still do some kind of prediction with a lower accuracy, not very high accuracy. So that is a predictive, the next stage. And the third stage is something which we think very, very few organizations are doing it. And it could be a future where it will tell you what to do, right? So, for example, in a company, there are inventory managers, store managers for deciding when to order, how much to order, what to order. And they could actually develop a system which will replace this person and let that software, let that model make a decision on what to buy, when to buy, where to buy. Or nowadays we talk about algorithmic trading, right? What is algorithmic trading? Basically, some software which is actually making decisions or buy and sell, right? So that is what is prescriptive analytics, basically. So you don't see many such examples, but in some limited context, you see its use being increasing. That this is decision is being made for you, and it actually kind of gives the best possible decisions. And this is where we see this. We talked about the statistical operational research (OR). I mentioned somewhere earlier. OR techniques are used. So that is where you see OR techniques are used. So it's not so much a machine learning here, but more of a operational research kind of or simulation. And again, expert system is another AI technique which is used. So for example, for loan approval, you may have a software which will reject or accept loan proposal based on whatever data it has got. So if you're just making a prediction whether this loan application will result in default or not, then it is a predictive. But if you are having a system which makes a decision, that's a prescriptive. It's a prescription. Like, this is what you should do. So this is a third advanced stage of analytics. Any questions so far?
No questions, but I would just like to share that many times when I read articles that why a particular stock should be bought or sold, they even write the last line saying that above data is used with AI technology or something like that they mention. So trying to say that no human has kind of done this
Yes.
data analysis. It is done by AI.
Yes. And today with AI, you can even write those articles. So not only it does all the analysis, but using the chat GPT sort of thing, you can actually write an article with recommendations. So earlier, newspaper used to employ people to write such articles. Today, AI can write such articles. So they do the prediction and they also write it down. But they need to put that footnote saying that it is written by an AI system. So this is largely prediction. It's not prescription because ultimately they'll predict and recommend, but person has to make a decision. But there are many brokers who also use this algorithmic trading. In US, it is more common, where there are systems which makes decisions of buying or selling with real money.
And how accurate would they be?
Very high accuracy. Incidentally, it is better than human accuracy. See, even human, we can't be 100% sure is accurate, right? So when you buy or sell, you are also not sure how much is 100% correct, right?
Right.
So that is what they have figured out, that whatever humans can make, decisions can do, the systems are not better but not worse than this, so as good as humans. But it is focused. I mean, this is very narrow. So the system can't make any other decision. They can only make decision. They could be trained to make decisions only for, say, stock buy or sell in US market, a particular subset of stock market. But those systems are very much used in US, and in India also it is increasingly being used. Yes. Shrey, any comments, questions?
No, sir.
Okay. So this is the last slide for the day. So one is what we saw, the three ways we can classify analytics. The other way, which is very popular nowadays, is that we talk about, so we say business analytics, which we talk about decision making in business. But we nowadays people talk about health analytics, which is use of analytics in health. So during COVID-19, you might have seen so many numbers floating around. And you might have also heard about some analytics done to predict what will happen. So unfortunate number of deaths that, what will happen. Will that train go down, or so a lot of predictions were happening during COVID-19. This is all comes under health analytics. So again, there also we look at descriptive analytics, which is where we see numbers and charts. We also look at predictions over there in terms of what will happen. So now again, people are talking about COVID and they're saying new variant has come, and people are building models to predict what will happen. Right? So all comes with health analytics. Sports analytics, if you're a big fan of IPL, you would have seen an abundance of sports analytics there. I mean, 20 years back, if you watch cricket match on TV, you will see players playing. But today, you see a lot of numbers coming in, being shown there, and predictions being made in terms of what is the probability of this team is winning over other. It will be 30%, 50% probability. So sports is big user of analytics. They use lots of data, and even the selection of players and those kind of things are largely happening with that. So it's a big field in itself, and there are people who specialize in sports analytics only. We also see, particularly MBA, nowadays we talk about marketing analytics, how analytics could be used for marketing, for understanding customers, their requirements, and so on. People or HR analytics, how analytics could be used in HR, predicting who will leave the company in next 1 year, or what percentage of attrition we'll have in a company. That is all coming in people analytics. And then comes financial analytics, which is again looking at how in finance, how much profit we could have, or what kind of days outstanding it could be, how vendors will perform, how much how much credit period we should give to our vendors, and so on. So you can actually make use of analytics techniques, same analytics techniques in a particular domain. So it could be health or sports, specific industries, or it could be areas like financials or HR or marketing, and so and so. So analytics, so you will hear this term, sports analytics, you hear a lot because that is being used big way. People specialize in it, and people actually choose careers in these kind of specific areas of sports analytics or health analytics and so on. So with this, let me conclude. But yes, any questions, comments before we close?
I would just like to ask one question. Is it correct to say that after AI, analysis has increased tremendously, or always it was so much before also?
Earlier, it was more of a descriptive analytics, which was there. People were looking at charts, people are looking at reports, and so on. But with AI, prediction has happened. So earlier it was possible, but not that feasible. But today with AI, with machine learning, predictions is easier. And even small companies can use AI techniques using Excel also for that machine learning to do that. So that has increased. So predictive analytics has increased because of AI.
Okay.
Shrey, any questions, comments from your side?
It was an informative session. I have no queries so far.
Great, great. Thank you very much. I think it was okay. It's 12 o'clock anyway, the right time. So thank you very much for participating. I hope it was useful.
Thank you. Very useful, very informative. Thank you so much.
Sure, sure. Thank you very much.